Hello everybody and welcome to our first edition of Boys Review Toys Tech Time. This is the boys' dad here and I am a self-proclaimed HTC fanboy and I just got my new HTC One 9 and thought it'd be fun to show you guys a comparison of the HTC One line as well as give you a review of the A9 once I activate it. Alright, so we'll go one at a time here. We have the One M7. This was the first One Series phone that came out from HTC. So this was the first full metal unibody phone that came out with the HTC One Series, and you see this is also the Beats audio phone that they had that came out. This was a game changer for HTC because it was the first phone that had Zoes and introduced their Blink feed and the Beats audio as well as the boom sound, two front-facing speakers, which was pretty monumental for them. And of course the Zoe, right, was full pictures that's captured in video a couple seconds before and a couple seconds after the picture, so you had full video with your pictures, which of course now Apple is doing on their phones because they had to copy HTC. But this was released in 2013 and was the first HTC One model. Then HTC came out with the M8, which is the follower to the M7. We have both models here. First Sprint came out with this one here, which is the just regular M8 phone. You can see there they changed the front of the box a little bit, started showcasing some of the features of the phone, but it also still had the Zoe, the boom sound, the Blink feed, and the Duo Cam, which is the first in HTC there. It was basically put two cameras on the back side of the phone here, 1, 2, and it made it so that you were able to do some pretty cool camera functions of blurring things and 3D pictures, stuff like that. But you can see with this phone, in comparison with that M7, it was very similar in form factor, but they kind of rounded it out a little bit more, well, for one, you see they took off the Beats audio, right? This was a phone that was released with just basic HTC audio processor on it, and that was released then because they knew they were going to be releasing this bad boy, which is the HTC One Harman Kardon edition. This was the same phone that was the regular M8, but what they did here was they added a Harman Kardon audio processor to it. So you can see here this is the HK and it's got that nice Harman Kardon logo at the bottom there. Along with the Harman Kardon sound processor, they also built in what they called Clarify and Live Stage, which just were more sound enhancing software that not a lot of people really understood, but it made it sound pretty good. They actually packaged some good quality headphones with the phone, and you see it's a little bit different from the regular M8 because it's got the gold tint to it. It's a gold and black phone, which I have to say, out of the One Series, this one has been my favorite. The black back, gold front, it's just a very sexy phone. But with this one, of course, you got that Harman Kardon processor, and it was just, the sound's great. You can maintain the boom sound on the phone. Great quality. This one was released in 2014, so this was the big release from HTC for their iconic line of 14. Then we saw earlier 2015 the HTC One M9. So we have both colors here, the gold as well as the, I think they call this one charcoal. But very similar. If we put these side by side, it's almost a little tough to tell the difference as far as which is an M7 and which one's an M8 and which one's an M9. And the sales on the M9 have really kind of said that as well. A lot of the people just didn't think that they were getting much of a difference in phone there. Some of the basic differences from phone to phone: they took off the Harman Kardon but gave you Dolby digital processing for your sound, so Dolby sound processor, which sounds pretty good. They took off the Duo camera. We don't have the Duo camera on there, so that was kind of a bummer. But and they also made it a megapixel so that you're able to get better quality pictures, more pixels into the picture for the setting. And then one other small difference is they changed where they put the screen dim button, power button. It's here on the side next to your thumb, whereas before it was on the top there, as you can see, this bad boy. That's where the power button was before. So Very small differences. I mean, it did have a different processor, same memory, it was an upgraded version of Android, but phone to phone, very, very similar. Now, we're going to the new guy, which is the HTC One A9. So here is the A9. See, I've already got it activated, turned it on. It's phone to phone here, side by side. Let's see what you look up at the same color next to each other. But phone to phone, it's definitely a lot more of a clean black look. Some people might say it looks a little bit like an iPhone, which I think they were kind of trying to steal some of that form factor since Apple stole some of their software technology. But one thing you're looking at here with this phone, basic enhancements. They do have the full metal backing on the phone, just like the other HTCs have been full metal backs. A little bit different here though, they have taken off the boom sound speakers. So just the one speaker here at the bottom, which is kind of a heartbreaker for me. I love the boom sound, so I'm hoping that I'm not missing too much by losing my boom sound there. As well as you got glass across the whole face here. This whole front face is glass. Before you had the metal edges because of the boom sound speakers around there. So it's kind of a nice sleek feel having it full glass like that. As well as this is now a thumbprint enhancement, so I can just touch my thumb there and it's putting it into the camera mode. Well, I just didn't normally go to the camera mode. Usually we'll just unlock, but I guess my finger also hit the camera button. So kind of neat. They added the fingerprint sensor there. As far as other feature enhancements, there really hasn't been enhanced too much. This phone actually came with a little bit, I guess not an upgraded processor, so to speak. But it also does come loaded with the new Android Marshmallow software 6.0, so that's pretty neat. I'm looking forward to trying this sucker out and seeing what the new Marshmallow software is like. But you guys just get one more look here at the A9. Show you all the sides of it. Kind of what the screen looks like with some smudges there from my fingers. That's alright. But you see the full glass front. Really kind of new for HTC. A sexy look to it. But it's very thin. It's very much of a flat phone, whereas some of the other ones had a little bit of a curve and bevel to them. This one doesn't have that curve and bevel to the back. This has a small amount of curve to the front there, but nothing like what you're seeing on the current Samsung models with their Edge editions and whatnot. But this is my lineup of HTCs. Fun stuff. And I'm going to start using this A9. I'm going to use it for a couple of days, and I'll check back in and let you guys know what I'm thinking about the A9 going from model to model across the HTC One family of phones. Alright guys, I'll talk to you soon. So I've been using this A9 for a good 3 or 4 weeks now, and I think I can give you guys a pretty honest opinion on the pros and the cons of the HTC One A9 series. So first I'm going to start off with the pros, things I like about this phone. Number one is how thin the phone is. It's very thin, and you know, if you're used to the other HTC One models, they kind of have a curve to the back, which, you know, you can see here on this guy. It's got a bit of a curve in comparison. But I forgot how nice it was to be able to lay my phone on the counter and it not wobble and make noise. So definitely the flatness of the back and just how thin it is a great feel. The full glass front, I didn't think I would like that quite as much, but it's just a nice reflection to it. It feels good having the glass on the full front, although you sacrifice the boom sound, which broke my heart, but you know, the glass is really cool. Also, the battery life on this thing is amazing, and how quickly it charges is amazing as well. So I think that's part of the new Android software, and also HTC kicking in some good stuff there. But this phone charges super fast. I mean, 10 minutes and you got like half a battery life, 20 and it's about full. So phenomenal stuff there. Another good piece is, of course, the camera quality. It's got a great camera to it, and the screen itself is very sharp and very rich, so the colors are extremely vibrant on the phone. Outside of that, you know, that's really my list of the pros. There are some solid cons in this phone. I would say the first con is probably, like I said, not having the boom sound. That was something that I really enjoyed having. You just have the smaller speaker here on the bottom of the phone. It's just not as loud. I find myself wanting to almost have another speaker with me most of the time because this just isn't quite loud enough. Another drawback of this phone is, well, I guess kind of depends on what your preference is, but it's more of a Google Nexus type phone in the sense that HTC decided to strip off a lot of the software that made HTC Sense, right? So, you're missing things like the HTC Mail, HTC Calendar, HTC Music. Those are some different apps out there which you can go out and you can download those and put them on yourself. But I actually found that the calendar app doesn't work too well on this whenever you're trying to use HTC Calendar. Sometimes it crashes, which was just weird. HTC software and HTC phone it doesn't quite work as well. As well as when you're using the HTC Music, you don't have as many options like the widget, things like that. So if you're in love with your HTC Sense software, this phone might not be the right phone for you just because you have to install it yourself and then it doesn't all work the same. But if you like the Nexus style of phones where they're just stripped down and you're pulling down your own apps to make it really personalized yourself, you're going to love it. So, really it's kind of personal preference. I could tell you myself, I used it, I thought the phone was cool, but I had to go back to my M9. It's just my favorite phone and it's what I'm using right now. So A9 to M9, take your pick your flavor. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the Touch ID to unlock the phone is nice. I personally don't lock my phone or like to have it locked, so I don't really use that function. I just, of course, love my motion gesture, pick it up, slide up, and it's unlocked. It's part of the beauty of HTC. So definitely, buy HTC phones. They're great phones. They're wonderful phones, but you got to pick which model is going to be the right one for you. If you want the speakers, you want the boom sound, you want that M9. If you want the thin, smaller phone with the more of a clean Nexus feel, go with the A9. Both good phones. Love HTC. This is the Boys Dad signing off from Boys Review Toys Tech Time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.